Over 10.8 million UK workers have been auto-enrolled into workplace pensions since 2012. Yet millions of them are still contributing only the bare minimum, quietly passing up money their employer is already set aside and waiting to hand over. Today we run the exact maths on what that costs, and the number is bigger than most people earn in a full year. Here are 3 things you will understand clearly by the end of this video. First, how employer matching works in the UK, Canada, and the US, and why it is an instant return on your money before any investment growth happens at all. Second, what a 3% employer match actually grows into over 30 years at a 7% annual return. And third, the one opt-out decision that quietly costs more than most people earn in a single year. Let's start with the basics. Employer matching means your employer adds money into your pension or retirement account whenever you contribute, up to a set limit. Think of it as a salary top-up that only activates when you put money in first. Here is the simplest version: you earn $40,000 a year. Your employer matches 3% of your salary. That is $1,200 a year from them, added directly into your retirement pot, on top of whatever you put in yourself. Now here is the part that stops people in their tracks. Before any investment growth, before any market return, the moment you contribute enough to trigger that match, you have already made a 100% gain on the money your employer adds. No index fund, no savings account, nothing legal beats that on day one. That is not a rounding error. That is the entire return target of most long-term investors, achieved instantly, by simply showing up with your own contribution. The rules vary by region, so a quick map. In the UK, auto-enrolment sets a legal minimum, total contributions of at least 8% of qualifying earnings, and your employer must put in at least 3% of that. For UK viewers, that 3% floor is a legal right, not a perk. In the US, most employers offer a 401k match of between 3 and 6% of salary, though there is no legal minimum. In Canada, many workplace group RRSPs and DPSPs include a matching arrangement, though terms differ by employer. In every case, the principle is the same: your employer has money earmarked for you, and it only lands in your account if you contribute. So where does this matched money actually land? In the UK, matched employer contributions go into your workplace pension, often a master trust or group personal pension that sits under the same regulatory wrapper as a SIPP. For UK viewers, this is separate from your ISA allowance, which covers a different type of saving. In the US, matched contributions land inside your 401k plan. The 2026 employee contribution limit there is $23,500, and your employer's match sits on top of that. It does not count against your limit. In Canada, group RRSP or DPSP arrangements work similarly. Employer contributions are added to your account and generally do not reduce your personal RRSP room. The 2026 RRSP limit is $32,490 Canadian dollars, calculated as 18% of your prior year earned income up to that ceiling. Now here is the visual that makes this click. Imagine 3 workers, one in each country, all putting in $500 per month of their own money. Same amount, same discipline. The one in the US with a 3% match on a $60,000 salary gets an extra $150 a month from their employer. The UK worker on a £35,000 salary gets roughly £88 a month at the 3% minimum. The Canadian worker on a $55,000 Canadian dollars salary in a matching scheme might see $138 Canadian dollars a month added. Over a year, across all 3, that is thousands of dollars that simply would not exist without the match. Each of these 3 accounts gets its own dedicated video in this series. For now, the key point is that employer money is real money, and it compounds alongside yours from day one. Now the core maths. We are going to run 2 scenarios side by side, and we will keep the numbers clean. Scenario A, a worker contributing $200 per month out of their own pocket into a retirement account, with no employer match, growing at 7% per year over 30 years. That 7% is a widely used long-run planning benchmark for a globally diversified portfolio. It is not a guarantee, and actual returns will vary, but it gives us a consistent comparison. At 7% per year over 30 years, $200 a month grows to roughly $243,000. Scenario B, the same $200 a month from the worker, but this time they earn $40,000 a year and their employer matches 3%, adding another $100 a month. Total going in each month, $300. Same 7%, same 30 years. The final balance, roughly $365,000. That is a gap of approximately $122,000 between the two scenarios, caused entirely by the employer contribution. Not by picking better funds. Not by taking more risk. Just by contributing enough to collect the match. Roughly equivalent to around £96,000 or 166,000 Canadian dollars at today's approximate exchange rates. Now meet Sarah. She is 32, working in the UK, earning around £35,000 a year, which is close to the UK median wage. Her employer offers the 3% minimum match. In 2023, during a tight financial stretch, she opts out of her workplace pension for 5 years, intending to re-enroll when things ease up. She re-enrolls at 37. On the surface, 5 years does not sound catastrophic. But let's freeze frame at age 62 and work out what those 5 years actually removed from her final pot. The contributions she missed, employer and employee combined, total roughly £10,500. But because those contributions never had 25 years to compound at 7%, the real cost is not £10,500. It is closer to £57,000 in final balance terms. That is more than Sarah earns in a full year. So if the maths is this clear, why do people opt out? There are 4 common reasons, and none of them are irrational given the context. First, cash flow pressure, as we just saw with Sarah. When rent and bills are tight, a pension contribution feels like a luxury. Second, distrust. Some workers do not trust the pension provider, particularly after headline-grabbing scheme collapses in past decades. Third, a simple lack of awareness. Many workers do not know their employer offers a match at all, or do not realize they need to contribute a specific minimum to unlock it. And fourth, distance. Retirement feels abstract when you are 28 or 32, and it is psychologically easy to defer a decision that only pays off in 30 years. Here is the data point that puts this in perspective. Before auto-enrollment started in the UK in 2012, roughly 1 in 5 private sector workers were saving into a workplace pension. By 2023, that figure had risen to around 4 in 5. The same concept, the same accounts, the same employer money was available before 2012. What changed was the default. Workers were automatically enrolled, and they had to actively choose to leave rather than actively choose to join. That single policy shift moved the needle further than decades of financial education campaigns ever had. The source for those figures is the ONS annual survey of hours and earnings. Opting out is not a moral failing. It is a decision with a calculable cost, and now you have the tools to calculate it. Here is something concrete you can do before the end of the day. Find the answer to this one question: what is your employer's maximum match, and are you currently contributing enough to receive all of it? Not contributing more than you can afford. Just contributing enough to unlock what is already yours. In the UK, your payslip will show pension deductions, and your employer or HR team can confirm the match threshold, often in your contract or benefits summary. In Canada, check your T4 slip or your group plan welcome letter, which will state the employer contribution formula. For US viewers, your 401k plan summary or your HR benefits portal will list the exact match percentage and the contribution rate needed to trigger it. One more thing worth knowing. Increasing your own contribution to hit the match threshold often costs less take-home pay than you expect. Here is why: in most schemes, your contributions come out before income tax is calculated. So a £50 per month increase in your pension contribution does not reduce your take-home pay by £50. For a UK basic rate taxpayer, the government effectively covers 20% of it through tax relief, meaning the real cost to your take-home is closer to £40. In Canada and the US, pre-tax RRSP and 401k contributions work the same way. The effective out-of-pocket cost is lower than the headline number because you are contributing dollars that would otherwise have gone to tax. The employer match then stacks on top of that already discounted contribution. Let's bring it together. 3 things you now know clearly. First, employer matching is an immediate, guaranteed boost to every pound, dollar, or Canadian dollar you contribute, before any investment growth happens. It is the highest guaranteed return available to most workers, and it disappears if you do not claim it. Second, at a 7% long-run planning return, a 3% employer match roughly doubles the final pension pot compared with contributing alone over 30 years. The gap in our example was $122,000. Third, the single most useful thing to check today is whether you are contributing enough to collect every penny of your employer's maximum match. One number, on one document, and you will know. If this video helped you understand something that used to feel abstract, the best thing you can do is hit subscribe, because tomorrow we look at another money decision that is worth getting right, and I will see you then. A quick reminder, this is educational content only, not financial, tax, or legal advice. Speak to a licensed professional in your jurisdiction before making any decisions.